So how do we stop fighting? Much like national politics, there are extreme sides, two sides that make it very hard to get to the middle, very hard to get things done, very hard to really get to a reasonable place where people can have confidence in what is happening and that they can believe in the solution. And that's what has happened. Just ask anyone. And I would imagine that if they have heard of Santa Susana, they are likely to have a very strong opinion about what is true, and that has been ingrained over the decades. That's just the way, that's just fact. And strong opinions, basically that means that we believe what we already believe. And anything that is contrary to that, we have, as humans, a tendency to reject. Plain and simple. It's called confirmation bias, and essentially that's what we've had happening for a very long time, where we have two sides that are trying to get to the truth, but they have filters, so we don't even have the two sides in the same room anymore. So it's really pretty impossible to get past the tendency to interpret new evidence as confirmation of one's existing beliefs or theories. And when you multiply that by the number of years that this has gone on and people have been waiting for solutions, it makes it even more difficult for anyone to have confidence in what they're seeing and what they're hearing. So when we see things from two totally different perspectives, we have two sides, and they're ingrained over not just years but decades. How do we get past those two sides? How do we flip that upside down and make it possible to actually see the other side? Two sides. And both sides are certain that they are the ones that are right. So how can we get to a real solution when that seems to require that one of those two sides has to be wrong? Because otherwise we can't move together if we have two completely different views of what is true. How do we do that? We follow the data. We have to follow the data. So how do we take in that new information about the cleanup and adjust our perspective based on facts? Because there are new facts. If you look 10 years ago, 5 years ago, or even 3 months ago, you're going to have different information than what you see today, because they continue to complete that picture. We also have what is considered to be the most comprehensive radiation investigation that has ever been undertaken by EPA, ever, anywhere. That was $40 million of ARRA funding, the American Reinvestment and Recovery Act. And that's $40 million that was spent to find out exactly where is the remaining radiation. And so that way we can characterize it and we can take care of it, because we have those answers now. So let's get it done. Let's build a future. Let's make it possible to save Santa Susana and the important rocket, space, and technology history that began at Santa Susana, so that we can honor the people who worked there and the people who solved those problems. We should honor this as a national monument, and that is my hope. Thanks for listening.